Okay, so this is again a continuation of our mini project session. Okay, so in this one,
Yeah.
like we'll try to enhance it, and the part which we have designed so far is we just designed our search page, we have designed our DML page, and we are able to show the data in our search page, and we are able to create the record also for the invoice. Now, the next thing what we do is, so here we'll try to enhance this particular status column, and also we'll try to show the different operations like the view and as well as update. Okay, and also delete. So, so the first basic thing what we do is here, if you observe the status column, it is showing the draft, like it is just showing the draft column which was entered by user, right? And few particular rows, it was null, even null also. Okay. So the basic thing here is, like we should not allow user to change the status. I mean, user should not even enter it actually. It has to be done automatically. It has to be populated automatically. And also this one here, nobody prefers to show the draft status in a capital letter kind of thing. They always prefer to use, I mean, generally in the business, we always prefer to use the lookup code as a status, right? Lookup code meaning as a status. So now what we
Okay.
do is we'll try to use a lookup, an AOI lookup in our page. So I'll just create one lookup, a custom lookup, and see how do we use that in our OAF page.
Okay.
So I'll just go with AOI lookup. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
we are considering three statuses as of now. And now, so the existing query for the invoice header, let us take that first. So this is our existing query. Okay. And also now let us see this particular lookup query. Right. So here, okay. Now what we do is we'll try to join this lookup stuff with our invoice header table. Okay.
Okay.
So either we can do equi join or maybe the inner join. So assuming that every record will have a status so that we can simply perform equi join.
Okay.
So here I'll just say status meaning.
Okay.
Okay. So now
Yeah.
we could see the information now, and we'll just copy this particular latest query and mention there. Okay. Apply.
Okay.
And one more thing here is in the Vivo, let us say if you're adding up any columns, you will not have any issue. Generally, like whenever now here in our case, we have added one column called status meaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
The alias name is status meaning, and just click on attributes, and you have to see that particular status meaning. Okay. But when you remove any column, let us say in my case, what I will do is let us say now like this particular status meaning column, I'll remove it now. Okay. See, I'll just
Okay.
click on apply. Okay. Click on attributes. Can you see your status meaning?
Move to transient. Okay.
Yeah, so these kind of problems appear. So always, like whenever you remove or whenever you update any columns, make sure that they are generated properly. So in our case,
Okay.
the status meaning got generated now. It is transient. First of all, if you don't want to use it, it's better remove that. Okay, like this,
Yeah.
and just update the statement again. Only thing is have a look on the attribute mappings whenever you update the query, and also don't try to replace the total query like this. Always try to add up the appropriate columns if at all if you require. Okay.
Okay.
Status meaning which is calculated. Now it got generated. Click on apply and okay. Now we'll go to our invoice header page. Invoice search, sorry. In the invoice search, we'd like to show that. So I'll just click on this table region, click on edit region, view attributes. Now I'll select this latest column.
Okay. And we'll remove. Okay.
Yeah, either way. So what we can do is either you can add up and you can remove the earlier one, or what we can do, it does not need to all this modification. Just click on the status column, and initially it was referring to status view attribute. Here I'll just click on this particular one and I'll select status meaning.
Okay.
This will be easier one. And also this table region was not showing with the full width. So what I will do is click on width and I'll change it to 95%. Okay.
Okay.
And let's run the page once and we'll do the remaining operations.
I removed that string
Okay.
XX, the one that I created earlier, right? I removed that.
Okay, sure. Okay. Now it shows properly. Click on search, right? We could see the status in a capital letter. Now
Yeah.
the next functionality is let us have the delete functionality here. Let us have the delete. So
Okay.
delete is like again a repeated stuff which we discussed earlier. Okay. So now in the delete we can either have a single selection or multi-selection. Okay. In this one we'll prefer to have a single selection. Okay. Now in this invoice header, go to the Vivo. So we need to have one transient flag. So click on new and we can have the flag name anything. It's not that only select flag, but we prefer to have the flag name as select. And updatable always. Data type should be string. Click on OK. And this is transient because it is not part of our database.
Yeah.
Click on apply. Apply. What happened? Yes, we have the header ID. And why it is giving the issue like this? Yeah, there's a primary key. The attribute that represents the primary key of the invoice header are missing from your query. It is not even allowing me to update. So I just okay, no problem. See, like it is not allowing me to update, right? So what I prefer to do is there is no other option. I'll just right click here and click on delete. Okay, and there were
Okay.
some dependencies. Even I removed from AM. If you observe here from the AM, I just removed that.
Yeah.
Click on apply and okay. Now try to delete it. See, even I removed from there, it still says that like you have a dependencies.
Okay.
So what we do is let's restart developer once.
You have this in the results region, right? So probably that is why it's seeing dependencies.
But it is showing AM information. In the page level, it will not consider.
Okay, okay.
It not bother about the page level. It's only try to shows at the information of that level. It now got refreshed, I guess. Now we can try. Yeah, see, I just restarted. That issue got fixed,
Yeah,
right? So these things happens. Now we can assign this to AM. Apply. Okay. Now try to see. We're trying to add a put select flag, right? Okay.
yeah.
Select flag. Updatable always. Apply. Check the mappings and select statement. Yeah, no problem now. Yeah. So now we'll go to our invoice search page. And now here we'll try to have a single selection on the table region. Perform right click on new table actions. See, one more thing here is like whenever we're trying to have any actions in our page, if you're having table region, we are creating all the things on table action. It is not necessary they have to be on a table action. It's kind of a convention, like, if you have a table, we'll be providing all the actions just above that. But those
Okay,
particular buttons can be anywhere, and they can be normal buttons also. It should not be only just table action buttons kind of thing.
okay,
Okay. Because if you see, observe, the item cell is just a submit button. How we create it. The only difference is that particular button is part of our table action region. That's the only difference.
okay.
Okay. So we'll have a delete functionality now.
Multi-select.
Yeah, right. New. So shall we go with multi or single? Either
Yeah,
way.
single.
Yeah. I'll go with single selection. Now click on view instance. Select the Vivo and select the flag. Okay.
Yeah,
Now just run the page. Click on search. Okay. So that's how it will show. Now let's write
yeah,
the functionality for the deletion.
yeah,
So I'll just try to implement from our business logic. We'll click on AM MPL Java, and let's try this. Okay. So now the basic thing is whenever user clicks on delete, and the expectation is the user has to select a particular row, and he has to click on delete, right? But there are chances
yeah,
the users may just click on delete without selecting a row. That could also happen. So that's the reason what we do now. First of all, so like if you remember, there are different ways of performing a deletion, isn't it? Using a filtered rows or maybe row set iterator. In this case, we'll not
yeah,
have a row reference because in this case also I think we can get a row reference. Okay. So but we'll try to delete using the like a filter rows logic. So I'll just say
yeah.
rows is equal to vivo dot like flag comma y, and if rows dot length is greater than 0, then we'll say user can delete it, else we'll say
Exception.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here perform typecasting, and this one will just call when a user clicks on delete. So from the
Yeah.
PFI, we need to write this logic. Okay, so here delete button. When user clicks
Yeah.
on delete button, we are calling our delete logic.
Yeah.
So I'll try to click on delete without selecting a row, and let's see what happens. Okay. Please select the rows to be deleted. Okay. Now let us say I'll select 129, click on delete. Right. Remove the row successfully, and it got removed from here also. And we can check it from backend also. 129 should not be there. We can just order by, yeah, 129 got removed. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how we can perform delete. Now the major important part is like we'll try to have the view operation as well as update operation. Okay. So let's start with our complex one, update operation. So now here the basic thing is the update should be done based on the status. I mean to say if the status is draft, update will be enabled. If the status is submitted, we cannot click on update. That's what we want to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like switcher logic. It's like a decode or maybe switcher logic. So then what we do is like in the OAF, we have a component called switcher in the OAF. So now what exactly like why I'm going with the switcher also we have to understand, isn't it? Now
Yeah.
we have a record here. Let us say invoice ID, invoice number, and you have a status. And now I'm saying that you have a update flag, update icon I can say. You'll have a update icon. Let's say that you have invoice ID 1, invoice number 1, status is draft. So what I'll show is like I'll show here update enabled icon. And let us say you have invoice ID 2, invoice number 2, and the status is submitted. And
Mm-hmm.
now what I want to show is I want to show update disabled icon. I don't want to show update enabled icon.
Okay.
So nothing but if you observe, if you consider from database perspective, what I'm trying to do, just based on the status, I'm having a different value. So can't we achieve this using decode? If you are considering from SQL background,
Yeah.
right? Understood? So
Yes.
now what
Yep.
we require is, so first of all, let's consider from the SQL background and just implement the logic as it is, the way you want. Consider from the SQL background and make sure that you'll have a different value based on the status. That's the first basic thing. Okay. So I'll consider
Okay.
this particular query from our invoice, this one. Okay. This is my existing query. Now what I will do is, so for I'll just create one more flag. I'll just say decode. And now what is the column? So this is my status column. And now if the status is draft, I'll just say UE. Okay. Update enabled. Right.
Yeah.
Else in other cases, in any other case, maybe rejected or submitted, whatever it is, I'll just say UD, update disabled. Right.
Okay.
And I'll just name this as update flag.
Okay.
Now you see we have UE or maybe UD, that's it.
Okay.
So from database perspective, we are able to have this particular one. Now,
Yeah.
so in the OAF, let us say now if you have UE, you want to show one particular item. If you have UD, we want to show another item, and that should happen dynamically. We don't want to have any programming stuff there. So
Okay.
that's where our switcher comes into picture. Okay. So let's first of all have this column in our query first. Okay. So I'll just update here. click on apply, and make sure this will get generated. Can you see update flag?
Yeah, update flag.
Okay, and click on OK. So query wise we are perfect. Now the next thing is, how do we use this particular column for a switcher? Okay, so in the switcher, like a switcher is one of the region. Okay, so like if you consider C language, maybe I can say PL SQL or maybe C, whatever it is. So switcher, generally switch have a functionality. It just requires one input parameter, and you'll have a different cases, right? Case 1, case 2, like this, isn't it?
Yeah,
Now, so let us say in our case, our input is update flag. In our case, our input is just update flag. And what will be the output? Output can be either UE or UD. Nothing but these are the cases for us, isn't it?
yeah,
And if it is UE, if the case is UE, I'll need to show update flag. Like we have one particular icon called update enabled. If you remember, in our first sessions, we used to have it, right? Like a
yeah.
update
Icon,
enabled,
yeah.
yeah, icon. I'll just use update enabled GIF, or other case, I'll just use update disabled GIF.
Okay.
Clear? So only
Yeah,
the basic thing is we have to use a switcher region. For that switcher region, we have to use our attribute, the latest view update flag attribute, and have different cases. And those case values should be equivalent to the value which you are getting from this particular attribute, UE and UD. Why I'm using UE and UD? Because this is the value which I'll get from my switcher input, isn't it?
yeah,
Okay, so I'll just go there. So in the search page, in the table region, right click on the table region and just click on new. And can you see switcher?
yeah.
And switcher is a region. Okay, switcher is not item, switcher is a region. You can see that region style is switcher. And I'll just say update switcher region. And now on this one, first of all, set the information, the view instance as well as view attribute. And what we have to set it here? Yeah, we got one more issue. Can you see here? We could not see that column here.
Update flag, yeah.
There's not a flag. So these are the common things which happens in the JDeveloper. Okay,
Okay.
and there is no reason. It's not because of a programming or whatever it is. So I mean, it was not saved. Maybe that could be the reason. Let's try again. I'll try to rebuild. Just rebuild only the business components. Make or
Okay.
rebuild. Okay, but anyways, I hope this time it should work. Yeah, so click on this one and it is not there. Okay, so I like what I visualize is like sometimes if at all if you're having a load on a JDeveloper, you used to have it, but I don't think in our case we have any load, right? We just have only these things, right?
You can delete that workspace, XX workspace. I'm not using it anyway.
Acha, yeah, okay. Okay, let's CNSI Web UI. Let's see.
Yeah, came.
Okay, so it's just taking time to refresh. Okay, or maybe once we delete something, it is trying to refresh and then it refresh this hierarchy. It could be that could be reason. Now we just mentioned this update flag, and now can you see the different cases? So in the cases, we'll have an item. Okay, so this
Okay.
item, like here I was telling the case information, right? So case will have an item. Okay, now if you write whatever item you have it, that item should have the ID as this one, like this.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just have my item name as UE, and this will be image. Okay, the same way I'll create one more item, one more case, and click on new item. You can also have a region in the switcher. Okay, you can also have a region in the switcher,
Okay.
image and UD. Now what we do, we just need to get the images.
Via media. Okay.
Yeah, So update enabled and update disabled. Okay, so I'll take the update enabled icon and okay, in the image URI I'll just consider this one.
Yeah.
And the same way I'll consider update disabled, I'll consider on the UD.
Yeah.
And also make sure that you have a prompt for this one. Update. Okay.
Okay.
And now what we do is we'll just have a fire action on the update enable and will not have any action on the update disable. That's how we control the behavior. So it's not
Yeah.
because of the icon. I just telling that, it's not because of the icon you have the functionality difference. It's just because of the event you enable on the appropriate item.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just say my event name is update event.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's see, and then we'll write the business logic. Click on search. Can you see?
Yeah.
Now we could see our, like a hand icon if you are having update enable stuff. But if you see the other icon, we could not see any action on this one, right? The icon got changed
Yeah.
automatically, right? You see?
Yeah.
It's like nothing but it will generate the appropriate JavaScript function. Technically speaking, in the background, what it
Oh,
will do is when you have a file action, it will generate a JavaScript function for that.
okay.
You can also maybe if you're uh, if you're aware of the JavaScript, what you can, the HTML or a JavaScript, you just click on view source on your HTML on your OF page, and you could see all HTML coding. You can see all
Okay.
HTML coding, and you can also observe that our update event is somewhere here. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
On click, submit form, right? Let's just
Yeah.
have this update event. Okay, this,
Okay.
this is how it will generate. So whatever the properties which we mentioned in our pg.xml, it will generate them as appropriate JavaScript. It will generate an appropriate JavaScript coding for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming to next, we have to have a update functionality. So what exactly we need to do is when your user clicks on update, we have to call our DML page with that particular current record information.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see that. Let me close all the things here first. Yeah, so here what we do. So we'll just try to write our spell logic. So we just require $OA dot the Vivo name as well as the primary key. So this is my Vivo name
Okay.
and primary key. And P underscore invoice header ID. On the update enabled fire action logic, we'll create a parameters for this one. And see, like in our office, I was working on one of the ADF project. Okay, so we had a similar DML page. It was not even complex. It was a very basic level stuff. Okay, we used to have
Okay.
we have a page, and that when a user clicks on update, it just need to show a pop-up. There I have to perform the there I have to perform the updation and just click on come save.
Okay.
See, if that is an OAF, it would have been same thing like whatever we are doing, right? Like we're just clicking, we are able to find the current record and we can just show in the pop-up. So only the pop-up is a new functionality. Remaining coding is just as it is. But there,
Yeah.
passing the current selected information to a particular pop-up is a very difficult task there.
Okay.
And the other problem is there are different JDeveloper versions. We have 11.1, 11.17, 11.171, and within that you also have 11.14. There are different JDeveloper versions, and in many of the JDevelopers, the functionality is again different. The coding also differs. In some cases the controller works, in some cases the controller will not work, some properties will not work. That is where it is getting delayed, it's going on.
Okay.
Okay, but this particular logic what we are doing, this literally applicable to normal ADF framework also.
Okay.
Okay, but you have a different scope level, that is what we have there.
Okay.
Now click on search CO process form request. Now get the event logic, event name str is equal to page context.
Event param.
Okay, so now we have to call, first of all we have to get the parameter, right? So this is our parameter.
Yeah.
So here what we do, so this is our page, DML page, and here we have to pass it. And here if you observe this particular page context dot forward immediately, observe this method first. In this one,
Okay.
we have around total 7 parameters. Out of this, you have the 5th parameter, which is a hash map. Okay.
Okay.
So if at all, if you want to pass any parameter from one page to another page using this particular method, we have to use this logic. Okay.
Okay.
It's like array of name value pairs.
Okay. Yeah.
Hash map dot put. So I'll just say. So in the target page, how do you want to retrieve? That's what it is. Like what variable you have to mention. So I'll just say target parameter p invoice header ID, not to have any confusion,
Okay.
and the value. This is how we can mention. And this particular parameter object 5th one, pass like this, hash map. And other way also we have it. Like let us say, if it is a single parameter, it does not need to use hash map. What you can do is you can just mention ampersand. You can just mention ampersand. Your parameter name is equal to value, and the target page you can just access that.
Okay.
Okay. But this is the one
Yeah.
preferred one. This is a well organized one. Okay.
Okay.
Now in the target page, let us go to target page. So what is our target page? DMLCO, right?
Yeah.
So in this one,
Yeah.
we have to retrieve this particular parameter. So from the search page, we are passing it, and in the target page, in the PR method, we have to retrieve it. So before calling this insert
Yeah.
logic, first of all, try to retrieve the parameter. Okay.
Okay.
Invoice header ID str is equal to page context dot get parameter. Okay, now here comes a very important logic. So now we are retrieving this particular parameter, but initially, what are we trying to do? In our invoice DML page, we are just trying to create a record because we want user to enter the data, right?
Yeah.
But let us say if you're getting an invoice, so what we have to do? We have to show that existing data, isn't it? So
Yeah.
what we do is we'll try to modify this insert logic. We try to modify this insert logic. Insert emp evo row is there, right? So you just click on this one. Okay. So what we do is we'll try to pass our information. We'll try to pass our this particular parameter, invoice header ID. Okay.
Okay.
And now let us see how do we change the logic, because like see the basic thing is we can also write one more method, but we have to reuse the code, isn't it? That's the reason I want to reuse the same coding.
Yeah.
Invoice header ID str, and what I will do is, so till this logic it is same, and here simply just mention the condition if invoice header ID str is not equal to null, and if this is not equal to empty stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll write one logic. Okay. And now else,
Okay.
if it is else, simply just execute the existing insertion logic.
Okay.
like this.
Yeah. Okay.
vivo.clear cache, vivo.set where clause, vivo.set where clause, invoice underscore header underscore id is equal to header id string, then execute query,
Mm.
and make sure that column name is correct, invoice underscore header underscore id. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a difference. So here also we have to change it, right? Just pass this particular parameter here.
Okay.
Now let us see how the update works.
See, previously we said the fetch size is equal to 0, right? Without executing the query.
Yes.
There, instead of saying 0, let's say if we said 10, what would happen? Query would be executed, or is it of no difference?
No, query will not be executed. Query will not be
Okay.
executed.
Okay.
So I'll just,
Only when it is 0, you'll have
it will be just initialized. It will just initialize, and it will allocate the memory what are the thing which you mentioned in the set max fetch size.
okay, okay, okay. Okay.
Okay. So now I'll just try to click on update for this invoice header ID one, and we have to see that record. Got it?
Yep.
Click on back, and let us click on create invoice, and we have to see a new empty record there, right? 310.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this creation also, if you observe the status, we should make sure that by default the status should be draft. Okay, by default the
Okay.
status should be draft. And also
Just like
one more thing what we would like to do is we also need to have one more button called submit. When user clicks on submit, the status should be changed to submit. Okay, these two functionalities we have to do now in this particular DML page.
okay.
So in the DML page, so first thing what we do is let's have a button, and also we'll make this save button before back button. Okay, so I'll just drag and drop, I just move it up like this,
Okay.
and the page button bar I'll create one more button, new item, submit button, and I'll just say submit button, submit invoice, and this one I'll make back as the last one. Yeah, so when a user clicks on submit, first of all what we have to do, we have to change the status from draft to submitted, okay, for that particular current record. So let us see that logic. So in the AIM-IMPL, what we do is we'll be writing one more method, public void submit invoice record. So we want to change the status of a particular column, right? So then what we have to do, we have to get the information of the row as well as vivo. And what I can do, I need to just get the current row which is getting displayed in the page. So I'll just use get current row logic. Get
Okay.
current row, which will give you the current row which is getting represented in the page. So I'll just say
Oh.
row.set status draft.
So if there are more than one rows, then what would it return? Say, is it an array?
No, it will get current row get current row will return you only one row. So it'll just give you the current row.
Okay. So
If it
let's
is,
say if you are
yeah,
on the search page and in the result region we have multiple rows, right?
yeah, it's like what happens is yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we are having multiple rows in the search page, and if you try to use vivo.get current row, if you are not placing your cursor on any of the row, generally it returns you the first row.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
am dot submit invoice record. And other thing what we want to change is in this one, this particular status attribute should be changed to message style text. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let's run the search page again. Click on search. Now on the header ID 1, I'll click on update. Okay. Can you see the status? Yeah, this has to be status meaning actually. As of now, it is showing the status column, right? It has to be status meaning attribute. Anyways,
Okay.
so just click on submit. Got it? It got submitted.
Okay.
And of course, like it has to be in a read-only fashion, but we'll do that. But time being, once you click on submit, it got changed. Now click on back and try to re-execute the query and see what happens for the submitted record. It went down, isn't it? Maybe see,
Okay.
like, we don't have any order by logic there, so it just going some, it just going the, I mean, it displaying the fashion whatever they it is getting displayed from the way it is getting retrieved from database.
Okay.
Okay, but generally we can have the order by stuff, and also you can enable the order by on these particular columns. So here, if you observe, now what happens in general search pages. By default, you may have some order by stuff, and the user always try to validate based on the amount or maybe status based on the currency kind of thing, isn't it? In
Yeah.
those scenarios, we have to come up, I mean, the user has to mention on which they want to enable the search by. So I'll just click on search page, click on any of the column. Let us say I would like to have a search functionality, I mean to say sort functionality.
Okay.
Sort functionality
Okay.
enabled on amount. We have a property called sort allowed. Just click on yes, that's it.
Okay.
And let us say I would like to have on the status also sort allowed as yes, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And can you see here? If you just see it just got bulged something like this, right? The icon, this particular column. And
Okay.
you can see the mouse pointer gets changed when you are trying to move on that particular column, right?
Okay.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So,
And now like one more functionality what we have is, so when a user clicks on view, let us say what we have to do is like we have update, we have create, and we have delete also. Now let us say user want to see all the information with respect to this particular invoice. Nothing but we'll try to provide a view logic like a hyperlink on this particular invoice number. Once the user clicks on that, we'll try to show the invoice data in a read-only mode. We want to show the invoice data in a read-only mode.
okay.
Okay. So what we have to do is first of all, navigating from one page to another page, it's just as it is, the same logic. Okay.
Okay.
Now the only difference is how do we show the data in read-only mode. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll click on search page, click on invoice number. First of all, we want to change this one to link, hyperlink. Change it to link.
Okay.
And now here, make sure this you have a visual prompt. It's view invoice, and then have a fire action on this one. View event. This is my event name.
Mm-hmm.
I can use the same spell logic there, the same particular parameter, and like this. Click on parameter, mention the parameter name, mention the parameter value.
Okay.
That's it. And the remaining logic again the same. Only thing is just event name is different. So I can just copy the same else if logic here. And here I just need to mention my view event name, right? So till this part it is same. But now in the target page, the page has to know that you are opening the page in the view mode, because if you observe if you observe the coding which we have used for update event as well as view event is just as it is. But how does the
Yeah.
target page know that you're calling the target page in the view mode or update mode? The target page has to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is where our important part comes into picture. See, instead of this one, what we would have done is like for update you'll call one page, for view we'll call another page. That will be easier job, but you know, like we want to reuse the components. We want to reuse the components. We just don't want to create the components on the fly, right? So what we do is we'll declare one temporary variable called mode, string mode str. So in the mode str, what I will do is I'll just mention the mode. I'll just say mode update.
Okay.
And this particular one I'll just pass it to the target page. Okay, so I'll just mention p underscore mode, then I'll pass the appropriate value.
Okay.
So here also I'll pass it. And here we have to say view.
Okay.
Now in the target page, what we do, take the p underscore mode logic. Okay, now we got the parameter mode. So do you think there is any difference? I mean, do we need to modify any logic in this particular A method?
A method, no, actually.
A
It is the
method,
same.
yeah, A method you'll not have any impact. The only the impact what you have is how do you show this particular total components in the read-only mode, isn't it? Now we have this in the invoice DML page. As of now, we have this set of columns, right? How do you show all these columns in a read-only mode? Okay, so what we do is, see, there are different ways of achieving this particular functionality.
Okay.
So either you can take the bean instance of each and every item and just you can just mention set read only to true.
Okay.
That is one logic. Other logic what we do is, let us say I have these number of items, right? So what I prefer to do is, rather than writing a bigger logic, so simply, okay, so I'll just copy this header region, okay, copy this header region, click on the main region and click on the main region and simply paste it, okay, and I will rename this particular region as header view data region. Okay,
Okay.
now we have two regions, and the header view data region, what happens is I will have all the columns as read only.
Okay. Okay.
I'll make all the columns as read only. So what I can do, I can try to work on the region functionality. Like I can just enable a region as well as render a region. So
Okay. Okay.
I can write less coding. Of course, it seems like a repeated components you're trying to display, but you know, anyway, you don't have much load on the page, right? So we are not trying to display all the columns. So it will not have much impact on the load on the page,
Okay.
right? Message style text, all these things as message style text. Now, but the basic logic is, if you try to run this particular page, what happens? It will show these two regions, right? But we want to show only one region at any point of time,
Okay.
right? So that's the thing we have to achieve now. So this is my bean instance of this region. So in the invoice DML page, what I will do is, what is the bean style? OA header region.
And the HEA.
Yeah. OA header bean. This is one of my bean instance for the update header region, right? And the same way
Yeah.
we'll have one more functionality, one more bean instance for other region,
View.
view
Okay.
region. Right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
here the basic thing is just if and else condition. If mode str is not equal to null, okay, and if it equals to view, then what we can do? If this is equals to view, what we have to do? We just need to header update should be false, right? Header update region should be set rendered false.
Rendered. Okay.
In other cases, when you say like it can be create or update mode, right? In other cases, if it is create or update mode, the view region should be set false.
Yeah.
Set rendered false. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So this is not the this is not the way actually we have to do, because you have one more option called like a PPR logic. In the future we'll try to implement that PPR logic. It's just only initial purpose. If you're having only one component to be set rendered false dynamically, then this is the best approach. But if you have many things to be achieved, then we have to go with the PPR logic.
Okay.
Now let's see this one. Yeah, click on search.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
could we see view stuff on the 006? I'll just click on this invoice, and can you see the data in read-only mode?
Yes.
Click on
Okay.
back and try to see the same record now through the update mode.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So this is what we want to achieve.
Okay.
Okay. So now here we could finish all the operation, but like it is not fully done still. So what we would like to do is we would like to introduce the lines logic. So in the next class, what we do is, as of now, we concentrate only on the invoice header part. So in the next session, what we do, we'll have a lines logic below invoice header, and in the line level, we will allow user to insert multiple rows, and we'll also try to use our spell logic on that to show only one particular table region at any point of time. That's what we'll try to achieve.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So after the total mini project is done, we can work on the deployment logic as well as JDR utils, JDR APIs.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, Sri.
Yeah. Okay then.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
So Sri, let's have our next class on Tuesday morning, Sri.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because Sunday evening, I have other activity that I need to go to. So we will have it on your Tuesday morning.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. And Sri, I have one more question regarding workflow, right? How long would that thing be? The workflow technical training course?
Now, see, like a workflow will try, I'll be covering the basic level of workflow, so it will be around 5 hours.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So in the basic level, we'll try to cover up for your information, for your action,
Okay.
and if and else logic, for loop, and like calling a PLC call program, and embedding an OIF region, and attachments.
Okay. So this should be sufficient for to get started with, right, on workflow.
Yeah, this is well sufficient, because if a developer understands these things perfectly, they can work on any kind of workflow.
Okay, okay. Perfect. So yeah, once we get over with this web framework class, then probably we'll talk about those things as well, Sri.
Yeah, no problem. Sure.
Reports, XML published reports probably, and the workflow as well. We'll talk about those things in detail later.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right, Sri. Thanks for that.
Okay, Vamshi. Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday morning. Okay, thanks.